Welcome to CathyDSlaught's SRC4u Zoom call for September 20th, 2021. We're here on Cathy's website, CathyDSlaght.com. We'll scroll up and we'll scroll down because we're looking for the Zoom banner. And there it is. If you'd like to be part of the Zoom call, which is Cathy's client group, which is a monthly fee, you would join the SRC4u Daily Energy Clearing Group. We'll click here to join the Zoom call. It'll take us over to the Zoom platform. I'll open up the Zoom app and we will be live.
Okay, here we are, 10 o'clock. First of all, apologies for Thursday. Sir is okay. In fact, he's just fine. He was shrieking in the office. I don't know who could hear that and who could not, but it was as if he were being killed. And when I went running in there, he would not even let me pick him up. It was as if his torso was in such pain that I couldn't touch him. So I just sat on the floor, and then he crawled in my lap, and after a short time he was fine, and he's been fine ever since. I knew something had gone wrong, but there was nothing in the office to hurt him. There was nothing that could have done that. We're in the office most of the days, all day. So Kevin had put me in touch, been a year or so ago, with a woman named Nina who can get into some of this energetic stuff. And I called her, and she said that I was under demonic attack. And she was kind enough to do whatever she does to clear it. And the irony is, my little dog seems to see this kind of bad energy, and I'm thinking now maybe all animals do. According to Rupert Sheldrake, animals see the morphic field, and they can very often see these things. You might remember the story from the Bible when the guy was trying to get around the mountain and his donkey stopped. Does that ring a bell to anybody? And he was beating the donkey and screaming and hollering. It turned out the donkey could see great danger around the corner. So lots of things to think about, to be aware of. I did do a little protocol for this kind of thing. In a brief story, we're in a time, as we know, we've been doing the discarnate clearing on every day. And we're in a time where there may be a real battle between a few energies, and I learned a few things, and I did a little protocol in reference to it, and I'm not going to share it today, but I did go in and ask, should I share this information, and it's called the Jezebel cocktail, and I get about a 67, it's right on the line, so tomorrow y'all let me know if you want me to share this, but it's about clearing this type of energy and how it comes and so on and so forth. The reason it's called the Jezebel cocktail, I'm calling it the Jezebel cocktail, I got this idea from another website, is the story of Jezebel, and we're learning now from quantum physics that our spiritual writings all are actually in codes. They were actually numbers. And the interesting thing about it, we would get the numbers, and then at some point in the numbers would be a message, will you change it? So in other words, if there is something that doesn't seem to work, we do have that opportunity to change it. And so but Jezebel, the story of Jezebel was King Ahab, who was a king that was swayed from God by his wife, who was a pagan. And they built many, many temples to the pagan god and were sacrificing infants and so on and so forth. That's the story of Jezebel. And interesting into the story, or end of that part of it, King Ahab then was killed in battle because he did not have protection. And the person chosen by the prophet to be the next king was this very rough and tough general. It was not in the lineage that ordinarily would be chosen. And so it's quite an interesting little twist of things, and especially if it's any kind of coding or message for us. But like I say, we'll test again tomorrow. And if you want this protocol, you can always just email me separately, but I may share it tomorrow. I do agree, what we focus on, we create, so we don't want to focus on that type of thing. But it does look like if you're doing a lot of energy work for this kind of thing, there might be some energies that don't like that very much. Does that make sense?
Totally.
So with that in mind, we had left off, we were wanting the David Slater scan. I want to show you where we are. It's in reference to thyroid was our 0. And so I want to see if we're done with that or not, or if we want to proceed. Mary has now fixed our list so that we can do an Excel spreadsheet. But for now, let's just see if we want to. No, we don't need, we did that work over the weekend. We don't need to proceed with that right now. Unfortunately, with whatever happened Thursday, I had our entire flower essence thing ready to go, and about half of it was deleted. And it was interesting, even our menu up here for the SRC was turned off. So I came back to a somewhat, but not totally, blank screen. It was a very interesting experience. But let's just proceed and see what direction we want to go next. We're starting, and I hope to get this flower essence thing finished again today. This is an old book we're getting the information from, and as a result, they say things I think the newer books just would not be allowed to say. For example, a lot of reference to cancer and what this can do for cancer. And for example, though, in reference to bacteria and virus, Pansy flower essence is supposedly able to kill all bacteria and virus. And we did have one person in the group that was really suffering and resonating with corona, sicker than a horse, and we sent this. She sent it to herself, and I sent it, and she seems to be okay now. So again, that's the thing with energy. You really don't know. You just keep doing what you're doing. But here we're going to restore the imbalances in the subtle bodies, which is what the flower essences are said to do, and that seems to be the whole deal. Our etheric field is simply a conduit to the rest of this. Now we're up to the 102 and checking this oxidative stress. I unfortunately bought a tin of brownies and ate a whole bunch of brownies. My oxidative stress was at the maximum today. So that gives you an idea. It's very subtle, good information to have. We're here about at a moderate. Those information. I just went ahead and put this in here, block all energies that attempt to interfere with humanity. There's no code, but I did add it. Oh, let's just do this first. I don't forget. See where we are. Oh, it's still scanning. All right.
Cathy.
Yes.
All those numbers that were on the bottom, are they connected to all those things?
Yes. Yeah, those are all from Grab-A-Boy. Okay. And again, I'll tell you what it seems like. is one of the most powerful approaches is to chant. And that, as we've talked about before, the
Now, explain something to me here. When you say to chant, are you saying chant the numbers?
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can text yourself, but chant, double check and see the priority for Qi to chant a certain code and get an idea. For example, I had one this morning. I tested. It's 100% benefit. I'm not sitting around chanting, but when I walk the dog or I drive, I repeat my number.
Yeah, I was doing that too.
Yeah, and you know my philosophy, what can it hurt? So here we've got this moment in time, connective tissue, remembering our energy is flowing, whatever I need, degeneration, prostate, reproductive, trigger points, a few things we're waiting on the glossary for, hips, healing crisis, all that stuff, plaquing, uncorrection, which also looks like it deals with a little depression, all that stuff, bladder, blood, ears and hearing, tumors and cysts, liver, gallbladder, immune system, and veins, arteries, and capillaries. And then we get here to our the situation that we're working on with perhaps where we need to focus for the correction would be fungus. Let's just look here. Priority for Qi. Next, focus, fungus. The more you use this, like this, you'll be surprised. I'm sure some of you already do this, the more accurate it is. So yeah, we can go in and perhaps, since we've got the thyroid stress balanced at this time, just go ahead and work this week on fungus. Might be quite a big task. Swollen, cold, multiple sections of body, nervous system, inflammation, pineal, adrenals. Altruism, which isn't this interesting, compliance, some thoughts on that, emotion, seductive, over here euphoric, stress factor, mineral, and then over here energetic. All of this SRC is dealing with. Words to ponder, I don't believe in miracles, I rely on them. That's pretty good. Don't tell me the sky is the limit when there are footprints on the moon. That's pretty cool. We're looking pretty good today, aren't we, with our attitude. Devaluation, reckless, maybe reckless with our own system. I don't know. Overcare for the welfare of others, used, interesting. Loved, energizer, appetizing, depressed. Is that, no, distressed, okay. Higher wisdom. Ego is surprise. You remember the definition of the ego, it's our computer operator. And it doesn't always like to change because it's not confident of the new program. And then we've got some stress related to possession. So let's go ahead and now put these in. And there is something, I think, to the Tesla 369. Now let's do this. Make a quick Excel spreadsheet. Mm. Mercy. Well, this is our stress at this moment in time. We do have that block all energies that attempt to interfere with humanity up there. Spirit possession syndrome, clear false guilt, cross consciousness, spirit releasement, increased voltage, joy. Now the tramp spirits, I don't know why they call it that in the book, but that's your people who have passed and they're confused. They don't know they've passed. They're still hanging around. Spiritual evolution, block detrimental physical and emotional conditions caused by discarnates, non-beneficial spirit contamination of lifestyle, I do not consent, God consciousness, the mind of God overshadows all substance, and then invisible helpers from the spirit world help get lost souls to the light. These are the ones up to 1,000. Put that in there.
Are you getting all those from Rebel Boy?
I am, yes.
And all the words and everything too, or just the numbers?
Yes, yeah, no, all the words. What I do, because I do like these codes. And by the way, in the Zoom today, I'll send you a list of the cocktails that you should have for the thyroid. You have to play with it a little bit. I'll put something in, like right here. Well, that's not where I want to be. Like this block all whatever. I'll put that in and I'll play with it a little bit, and then at some point I'll get a code. So yes, you don't automatically always get it, but they will work with you on that, and it's been very interesting what you can get.
Okay, because the reason why I asked that question is because a lot of times I'll put stuff in there and it'll just come up 404.
Right. You have to reword it sometimes and play with it, and you will get a code. I will tell you, I am amazed at, y'all be reading a book and this big long phrase will be there, and what the heck, I'll copy it and put it in there and there will be a code. So it looks like they're reading, whoever's doing this grab a voice stuff is reading what we're reading. But you do have to work with it a little bit. So you see, look here, in reference to our alignment of our subtle bodies, our biggest block at this moment in time is our conscious mind. So I was telling somebody last night, we've all had traumas. What we don't want to do is talk about them. Once you've got, you can mention it, so acknowledge it, don't be in denial, but then you got to focus on only what you want, at least what it looks like based on the quantum science. We're not talking about Pollyanna, but we're talking about our power to create. And so at this moment in time, it looks like as a group, our conscious mind can be on some higher vibratory issues. So what we want to do is align all levels of consciousness. Get that up there. Yeah, no, the healing grab-a-voy, we now know everything's a number. And it does look like, as we chant these numbers, whatever form you want to call it, repeat these numbers, we can pull information down. And yet, in all fairness, that did not work for my house to get closed. So that I looked at that and I said, well, shoot, it's working for everybody else. It did not work for me on that. So I'm regrouping. And so that kind of gives you an idea that wasn't in the highest good. So in other words, even though it seemed to me like it was in the highest good, now what you can do when you see an interesting code, just test yourself and see, is this one I should maybe repeat a little throughout the day? So, for example, at a 32, I'd say no, not necessary. And then a few other things just to check on.
You know, one thing I don't understand is, and I've heard this many times, you know, you made a contract before you came in. Now, have you ever heard of that?
Oh, yeah.
Because I know I was talking to somebody about getting large sums of money or something like that, and they said, well, if it's on your contract, it might work, but if it's not in your contract, it won't work.
Well,
but I've learned in my studies that contracts can be renegotiated.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I'd like to know how to do that.
Yeah. That sounds pretty good. We need to look into that. But I agree. I think we have that power to renegotiate. It is possible, but I do still think it has to be in the highest good. And so in the case of my house, for some reason, it wasn't. And what the Chinese say, we all know, the word for crisis is opportunity. I am not real pleased having wasted 6 months with the direction our economy seems to be headed in. But I'm not gonna focus on that. I have to be aware of it and probably do as much as I can quickly. But it is as it is. There's not much else that I can do other than that. Again, right up to 102 for our generic intention statement. See if we want a command.
I like that.
I've really enjoyed the commands. It first gives you some information as to where you're headed. But I think also the words are powerful. That's another thing at some point we're going to spend a lot of time on is this word thing. Well, we're up here at a 660 for the coronavirus scan. Here's a 0 with the implant command, so that's what we're going to do. Let's just check the rest.
You have another 0 there.
Yeah,
Oh,
divine energy was 0.
Oh, thank you. Ooh, okay. Well, let's go ahead and do the implant
I like
command.
that one better.
You like it better? Okay, let's do that then. That should take care of implants, actually. What did I do that for? I'm still got that on my mind. Hold on a second.
What was that, Kat?
The divine energy command. And that actually should take care of any, it's just like in reference, for example, just any negative energy that comes your way. What you can actually do is go in here and do a field. It's just, I've been doing this a lot at night. Let's do, Divine Light of God. I'm just taking 5 minutes for the group. We'll do it anyway. And then we've got the basic startup, priority for Qi, session startup. Well, we're going to take it. All right. Session startup emotional. I'm sure this can be refined at some point. Okay. So she frontal lobe cocktail. Okay, see, this frontal lobe cocktail is interesting because so often our food, and sometimes it's environmental stress, but it really is interesting on this one to see. So we go into the find options, the lobe cocktail, frontal, search. All right, so this is in reference to our frontal lobe. Let me make this larger. Rejection of experimentation with the human genome, glyphosate, hippocampus. This is, I can't remember what this estradiol is. Does anyone know offhand? I'll have to look that up again, but it was something we wanted to clear.
It's a hormone.
Oh, okay. Thank you, thank you. So these are things, these are all impacting, as you know, the frontal lobe impacts our consciousness. And the higher our consciousness, that's our voltage, the better life's going to go. Purpose of action, shield against destructive scalar energies. Here's another something that I put in there but don't remember. Something else I put in but don't remember. Look at this microwave popcorn again. I don't know who's eating all the popcorn, but we don't like it for the frontal lobe. B12, consciousness free from threats to health and vitality. These artificial sweeteners don't look like they're doing us any favors. There's some, remember, this is all etheric, stress related to the prostate, enhanced memory. Block all disaster created by frequency weapons. We don't know if that's true, but we do know there's a code for it. And this final one, okay, all vitamins and proteins of all things, finally heal cancer of consciousness, which is an interesting way to put it. Let's just add that, and then add that. Finally, priority 2 nerve cocktail.
That could be a very good one for one of my clients.
Yeah, it's been very interesting. Just I like to test people, and it has. Now today we're good. A lot of people have been asking for the nerves one, but almost everybody has been asking for this frontal lobe cocktail. Now I want to show you something else real quickly from the Zoom, or the notes before we go any farther. If you're interested in this, I am going to send it out, and then we'll see. And I did put a dissipate tsunami in there anyway. There was a code for it, so we've got it. If anybody wants to do it, here's your cocktail. This came through the email. Some of you may have also gotten it, but this is some new ways to put your natural laws. and they call them divine laws, and they say these were the divine laws of consciousness. And so you've got number one, that consciousness is the whole deal. All things, everything rises, and that's our voltage. It's all that exists and is the energy called the universe. So again, I'll send you all this, but it's the power of our mind, but what directs us is our thoughts. So that's the first law. Then we've got the law of relativity. We're all connected. We're all one. And so that's why, for example, in my scan this morning, when I got to the end, I wanted to work on St. Petersburg, Florida. So I'm going to just do a little wonder click for St. Pete, Florida. Because you know what? I'm here. I'm one, but even for the planet, we're all one. Of course, we know about vibration. Everything's at a specific frequency, and that's what does everything. And our thoughts probably are the first factor for our vibrations, which is why we definitely don't want to focus on any trauma or what has happened. And sometimes you have to do a little extra to get over that. You know, I've had some people go through some terrible things. And you see this, and sometimes they have to get a little hypnosis or other therapies, but we definitely need to move past these things. And
that thing that happened with that.
What's that? Lost Marty there for a minute.
The girl who was found in the Tetons, Gabby Petito.
Oh, yeah. Did they find her?
They found her yesterday. You don't think that gave me PTSD?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That happened with, yeah. Oh, wow.
So yeah, thank you. And I hate to tell you, but Susan Bird, her husband passed Saturday morning.
Oh, this is sad.
And yeah, so there's so much we need to pray for and be aware of and work with our thoughts. And look at this, we talked about dimensions. Dimensions are ranges of frequency. What if you get up in the morning and you have a bagel for breakfast and that puts you in one kind of dimension, or you have a juice and that puts you in another? These are all interesting thoughts. To put it another way, my daughter says, "Mother, you get crazier day by day."
I said, thank you.
Yeah, we call that a good crazy.
I said, look, I'm not one bit bored.
Thank you for sharing, sweet daughter.
So anyway, you see, between every dimension exists a built-in connection, and some people call it portals. And this, they refer to this as chakras. And Bruce Lipton is the one that opened my eyes about chakras, in that they are the portals that allow the information from the field. And what I really do believe is we're in a field of pure love. I do think there are some energies out there that try to block our access to that. So we're going to, at some point, we'll be going into the more detail with the chakras. There's a lot more than even, of course, 12. We all know that. Then we've got the law of rhythm and cycles, which we're familiar with. So it's like a pendulum going back and forth. But the interesting thing, this pattern is determined by consciousness. Then we have the law of sovereignty. And we are sovereign beings. And when it says no other being has authority over you, remember, we're still all one, but we are calling the shots. And in my own book, anything that tries to take my rights to make my own decisions for my highest good, that's interfering with my sovereignty. And what you want to do, the sovereign being always operates from the highest vibrational levels over love and consideration. A sovereign being has a divine character who not only is the king, queen of his own world or her own world, but works constantly to improve the quality of life around them. The one who does not know himself cannot be sovereign, but instead shall be the subject to all manner of false authorities. Then we have the law of creation. We're working our way up. There's 12 laws. And again, we're back to thought. And this sound vibration, there's some excellent YouTubes we can listen to as we do our own work. I'm not going to do it with the Zoom, but there's some wonderful sound therapies just right on YouTube we can listen to. The law of polarity. And so what this explains, we've got to go up and down. We've got to go up and down. It's just a part of our reality. The law of space-time, the only time that exists is now, and the only space that exists is here, now and here, which means basically nowhere. And so that gets a little deep. The law of attraction, which we're familiar with, we're going to attract what we resonate with. The law of free will, and this is where you get into some interesting things. For example, if you have a contract, do you come in with free will? We're supposed to have free will. If you have a discarnate come in and interfere with your sole purpose, what happened to your free will? So is it possible we even planned that stuff out ahead of time and said, you know, it's like playing a game of golf. If you get a hole in one, you're not going to like it very much. You want a little challenge. And could it be that we actually plan that stuff out ahead of time so we see how we'll handle it? I don't know. The law of cause and effect, no matter what you do, it's going to create an effect. Nothing is random. As quantum says, there are no accidents. You can read all this. And this is interesting. If harm is done mistakenly, you may certainly mitigate any negative karma by doing only the opposite of the mistake. And then finally, Divine Law 12, the law of manifestation. And we know this stuff, and you can read it over, that consciousness is what transforms the energy into matter. The higher, the better. But what I really want to see, let's go ahead and see if it's a priority for us to have this in the form of a cocktail.
You mean you can check the whole thing out?
I don't know why not. We're gonna check. Because we could make a cocktail out of it, or we could make it in the Pro Tools. We could surround ourselves. Hey, we don't want it in a cocktail per se. Let's see if we want a field generator of this. No? How about let's try one more, and that's the supercharger. Well, we will take it through the supercharger just for fun. And this will go into our blueprint, maybe making us a little more conscious of it. And somewhere in here, but I don't think I have it up. I'm having a heck of a time with. It's not what I meant to do. Bear with me. Well, I may have a little time. Yeah, I'm going to have to scan this later and send it from the other computer. Let's just go in like this. It does look like we can do too much. I do like to check some of these that aren't auto. I don't believe when you come up with your auto, I think you're right where you need to be, but this one doesn't have an auto select. All right, so we're going to take 2 hours. Let's see if we're in the physical condition to manifest all this. We could use a little amp up on that. And in between while you're waiting, and I still want to check some cocktails, but one of the things, and especially when we see all this stress related to the frontal lobe, I've been going around during the day and just going in and charging, doing some brain charges. For example, the first headline I saw this morning is a woman and daughter killed someone by trying to give them a butt lift. Did anybody see that?
Gave him a what?
A butt lift. It's a big surgery on them to lift their hind end and killed the person.
Good God.
And so I got to thinking, and I was just thinking in relative to myself, but then it dawned on me again, probably a good idea with some of the headlines we read. I think we should go in. We've got quite a few charges in here in reference to the brain, and I don't think it would hurt to start doing this once in a while, back and forth, while we're waiting on other things to kick in. So 1 minute.
Share screen on.
What's that?
Share screen, and it's making this noise.
I hear it now too. I don't know what that is.
This was screen sharing. Do you want to continue?
I don't. That's not coming up on mine, but I do hear a strange noise.
Sounds like it's coming up on yours. Maybe you got something on the keyboard.
Absolutely on yours.
I don't have anything on my keyboard. I mean, I'm sitting here using the mouse.
Not you, the person speaking.
Oh.
Are you sure, Marty, somebody's not working outside of your house?
The woodpecker.
All right.
I think we've already established life is never dull. Right, so you can see, actually, we need quite a zap on this brain function. Let's start at a 1 minute for now, and then I'll come back and test. But I've been going around, if you are multitasking, I don't see that it hurts to go in and keep amping up the brain with a little charge, because we have a lot of stress just from our food and our water and our air, even with just that, and yet we're lucky to live in these times. We have some good things related to all that as well, but it probably does not hurt to amp up our brains so we don't do any butt lifts or anything like that. Okay, we don't need the general option scan at this moment in time. Oops. Don't need that. Let's see. From what I've seen, ordinarily when we don't resonate with 1 through 5 for a charge, well, that's not right. We just are going to need more minutes. Let's see if that's the case. Because our brain is our CPU.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
Okay, when you're going through all this like this right now, are you actually keeping the small ones or keeping the big ones?
The larger ones, I want a more of an impact.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. More of a resonance, I should say, not impact. But again, that doesn't mean, do what you're led to do. Okay, so we're taking 5 minutes now. So we wanted apparently 6 minutes total, which is why none of the other ones resonated. So this, I know, okay, this is going to, for some reason, are we ready? That's going to take a while to amp up. So that's a big deal for us at this moment in time. Oh, we want the grab a voice scan. So, and also the e-body.
I'm gonna say that.
Yeah. Let's go in here. And this will be on the website. I don't know if it's up there yet, but Joanne is doing a great job with the website. Let me just... Takes a little bit. You can always, as you know, while you're waiting, here, for example, I've got people of Florida, and I put the discarnate scan in. I can go in and go to the charger, and I don't have to do people of Florida here. I can go in and give us our next brain charge. This is an interesting, and again, I'll hopefully get this thing retyped or rewritten again on the flower essences. But we know that for the brain, that does something for the brain. I just don't recall. I like to see at least a 70, but that 2 minutes wasn't bad. Okay, well, let's just do 2 minutes.
So Kathy, what's the difference between the SRC4u charger and then the supercharger?
Well, maybe Kevin can elaborate, but to me it looks like the supercharger can just go longer. Like we've got 2 hours on the divine laws. And but that, I'm going to tell you, this charger, I need to definitely use it more. It is the little 5 minute that we all have with the P4 is incredibly powerful. And so, I think some of us, me for one, ignore it and just run to the supercharger, and I think that could be a mistake.
So Kevin, do you know what the difference is?
Supercharger has far more options. You can do clearing, you can do amplification, there's selections, there's all kinds of stuff you can do with the supercharger, and you can help it more than 10 weeks because the charger will only go up to 10 weeks, but the supercharger you can go, but it says permanent, but it's quite a long time.
Thank you.
Definitely don't underestimate the charger that you have, because it does seem to be something special that it does.
It is quite good.
Yes. So here's what we're looking at. This is our cell division we're wanting to balance. We're looking.
Could you enlarge that?
Oh yeah, sorry. Let me see how far down. I'm only going to go to about 300 with this one. So let's see. It's still quite a bit. Okay, get that back up there.
Larger.
Okay, so we've got the cell division, bones, dismantled non-beneficial programming, end, waste, and disorder, healing, humility, casting out some spirits of rejection, fear of rejection, and self-rejection. Pretty good one. Maximize the potential of everyone on earth. Open the mind to comprehend the impact of psychological warfare. Order of light unfolds. Remove black magic. Spontaneous remission. I don't know why we have vomiting in there, but it's in there. Look at that. Winning a massive lottery jackpot for life. Understand life's lessons.
I'll buy that.
I'm telling you. I'll send this out, and you can pick any of these you want to add to. Accelerate healing, evolve in a new transformed way, get out of the rat race, the masses awaken, adenoid, end media control of the minds of the human race, mental retardation, shatter the ceiling of the matrix, jaundice, remove bad energy, overlook others' faults and mistakes. I now live in the dawning golden age of miracles. Uninstall wrong decisions based on lies. There's a tooth abscess, aversion to live, vagus nerve, contact dermatitis, creative self-actualization, nothing is impossible, end all orbiting. What's that? What was that, Ron?
The vagus nerve is very, very powerful.
Correct. You might want to check out Donovan Sound Therapy. He's got some interesting work with that. So anyway, I think you can see all this. It does go down. This is not a bad one. Vitamins. I'll send this out. I'll have to go back and look. This is a good one. Transmute obstacles into 528 hertz. For example, when you get this list, let's just see. Look at that, 99% benefit to receive that, which we are receiving it anyway, but let's go ahead and give it an extra little and see what we have here. Only 4 minutes with one repeat. Anyway, you get the idea here. And there's it even get married soon. Let's go ahead and just do this amount for our own group therapy, and then I'll send it out up till the 300s, and you may want to play around with that one.
Cathy, that one about black marriage and marriage, black magic and marriage. Maybe you could take out the marriage and put selling your house, get a code for it.
That wouldn't be a bad idea, would it? Yeah, I had not been doing anything like that. I was just a code that my house is now closed. And I'm hoping it will close someday. I have to start fresh, there's no question. And, but yeah, maybe I will find it. It's hard to say what happened. I just have to be thankful that the whole ordeal is over. The entire listing was an ordeal with that particular person.
I like
and
it.
Things were done wrong from day one, and I was trying to just get through it. But, yeah.
My son yesterday explained what happened to you, and he explained that's how the flippers work. They already had a contract with somebody else, and that one didn't go through, so they just let it go. They do that all the time. So you were just stuck in one of those deals. Maybe you already knew that, but wow.
I knew they intended to assign it because that was a clause in the contract, but they were very nice people, and I didn't realize they had, the standard inspection time, etc. I did not realize they would go to the very day of closing.
Yeah, that's sad. I guess.
Yeah, well, it's okay. I'm over it. There's far worse problems
that's true.
than that. And so it's just as it is, and just got to start fresh. But so many mistakes were made. I think I mentioned to a couple of you. I got to the closing, found out neither realtor had ever even made sure they brought the rest of their escrow money. So it was just, a lot of things happened.
This connective tissue keeps coming up.
Where are you looking?
In the theme box.
Disconnected.
Number one. Connective tissue.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's look and see. Maybe we need to do that before fungus. No. But the connective tissue, they say that's like quartz. And that's, of course, why EFT and these other things work so well, is our energy is that of quartz. So, a lot of things to think about with that. Anything else? You might want to play around when this grab-a-boy stuff comes to you. You might want to play around to see if there's any codes in there that would be a benefit for you to repeat a little bit while you walk or drive, or use your prayer beads. So looks like we're done for today.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, you guys. Have a good one.
Thank you, Cathy.
You too,
Thank
Cathy.
you. Very
Have a great
enlightening.
day. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
This concludes the SRC4u Zoom call for September 20th, 2021. We look forward to seeing you again. Till then, take care and be well.